I'm glad that this came about, and we just knew that we've got a lot of books around that started about every 5 years or every 10 years. There was a wedding celebration, and we've got wonderful pictures to share the ages and who was doing what. And look at the people that have come join our family. Seth, we're just happy that you're here with us permanently. And
hopefully.
Sam, you're just here all the time, but we love it.
Not like that. But.
Not like that, but we like it that you're comfortable here and that you're knowing that you're just part of the family. And Nancy, we just love having you here with us. And I know you're learning stories about Bob that you hadn't heard before. And it takes just a few little secrets to pop out every now and then on the right occasion, huh, Bob?
That's right. You didn't know my mom ran me over the situation.
Now it's starting to make sense.
Yeah.
I did.
You know what happened to him now.
Yeah.
Why has his fear of station wagon?
But anyway, Dad and I were just saying that we thought we would just talk a little bit about our 65 years together. We're not going to go long because we're 10 minutes past our regular scheduled evening. So, but it started way back.
That's a little shot, by the way.
Way back when I was 18 years old. You had just got out of the service, and your sister Peggy said, "Do you have a date for New Year's Eve?" And you said no, and she just kind of encouraged you. I'll let you tell it. But at 18 years old, it was our first date, and he brought me home drunk.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I
No,
really?
Really?
You all just didn't know that.
I had no idea.
Oh,
Really?
I didn't.
Well, she got all kinds of excuses. She was drunk.
I was tired. Yeah.
It was just an evening that I didn't know what was happening, but I wanted to get home because I didn't want to be out and
She didn't want to get home. I hauled her head up 3 times.
he had to
She
get out
jumped out the car.
Oh, I had to run back around, drive
That's a
to
good
school.
story. Yeah.
First date.
First date.
See, Mom, you've been hiding stuff too.
Yeah.
Make us hide stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
So that was the beginning, and the next day, apparently, you called the house to see if I was okay, and
And your sister said, "Oh no, she can't come to the phone. She has the flu." I said, like hell, she's hungover.
Bottle flu, oh yeah.
so that was the beginning.
I'll start in a drunken evening, and here we are today.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
from there on in, we dated regularly, and we decided that why would we wait to get married when there was everything going for us to do it now? So we'd like to go to Panorama Trail. Do you know where that is?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
in behind, there was a big dirt pile because they were just developing panorama houses.
Is it the makeout spot? Huh?
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
It was
Wow.
dark in there.
Juicy.
The cops couldn't see the
Oh,
the
yeah.
car lights or
Oh,
anything.
yeah.
You know where they are.
Is that where you made Bob?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Hill.
Bob Hill.
So that was where, and I think you propose to me? Was that what?
I
I'll
always
let you
claimed
tell
that
that.
you did it, but didn't I?
So anyway, we decided to get married. That was in August. We dated from December, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, July, or April, May, June, July. August we got engaged, and then we decided to get married in December.
Wow.
And so
No, first of all, we decided to get married
in March,
in March.
which is my mother's
But
birthday.
because of circumstances with her father,
Family.
so
Yeah.
we
Right.
decided to get married in December. Of course, everybody thought she was pregnant, but she wasn't.
Right, and so that's why it came up so fast. So we got married and had a nice wedding and paid all the bills ourselves. And he was unemployed, and I went to work every day. And we just kept saying, it's just gonna work. And you kept saying, this is what construction life is all about.
Yeah.
This is cold weather, construction life, you never know if you're gonna work. So, okay, that was okay. And then we moved to an apartment project on Melville Street.
No, apartment.
Apartment, yeah. And we lived up at the second floor. There was a nice Italian couple that lived downstairs. And I'm sure they came upstairs when we were at work and checked things out. And you found out that why our gas and electric bill was so high was because...
He was stealing our gas.
Wow.
Seriously, he was.
Whoa.
Well, the RG, got a hold of RG, they came down and showed me where he had
Tapped
the
it.
kitchen down.
Really?
And he would, when he was down, usually down the kitchen, he would turn the gas on.
Wow.
Every month after that, for as long as we lived there,
You're
I'd get in a
paying
big
for that.
fight with him about
Yeah.
how much we were paying for rent.
Wow.
So we had a learning experience there.
Yeah.
But you found it out, so we moved, got approval to move into a veterans project. And we were happy to move in there. I was making $64 a week and you were
Wow.
similar.
Mhm.
And I remember I had white envelopes in the cupboard, and one was for gas and electric, one was for rent, one was for groceries, one was for, and that's how we budgeted our money. We knew how much had to go in that envelope, but sometimes there was a little change
Yeah.
and back and forth.
Oh, sure, sure.
But that's how we paid our bills. And while we were there, I think Bob was born there. You
But I
were.
was born there.
And shortly after that, you had your appendix out. And back then it was 6 weeks. Kid couldn't work. 6 weeks.
Yeah, believe it or not, 6
Yeah.
weeks, good
Wow.
drive.
So took care of you, Bob, on a regular basis. But I learned how to play canasta. Now, after playing canasta every day for 6 weeks, and he would always win. There was one day I picked up the deck and I threw it at him, and across the floor was a lot of cards in canasta. And didn't want to play with him ever again because he wouldn't let me win.
Oh.
Well, you said you tried to.
I tried.
I tried it
every
I
day.
still
I tried.
Honest to God,
She was
swear to
like
God,
that.
I tried everything I knew.
Wow.
Because
So-
have her beat me.
Couldn't do
Yeah.
it.
So then, anyway, we bought our first house on Mystic Lane in Henrietta, and that's where Jim was born on Mystic Lane. And then a year later, Bill was born on Mystic Lane. So we had 3 sons in 3.5 years.
Wow.
And I was 23.
Wow.
So we all grew up together, and you started getting involved in politics. You started getting involved in Henrietta Volunteer Ambulance. You started getting involved in,
You name
well, you were a councilman
it. Yeah.
at the time for running for election. And so our house became very, very busy with you out meetings, caucuses, traveling, and I was at home taking care of 3 boys. So from there on in, it was busy, busy. But why don't you tell what you were involved in with your elections and your positions at TH Green?
I wasn't gonna talk about it.
Go ahead,
I had
quickly.
no idea I was gonna
It's our
talk about
part of
that.
Yeah, talk about the marriage.
Yeah,
Let's
65.
talk about the marriage.
Talk about your eggplant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I wasn't gonna talk about that, but, well, I remember that, like I said earlier, I think I talked about, we bought our first house and it was 4 bedrooms, 4
Wow.
rooms, as she said, you know, and a year and a half later moving in, we had 3 kids, you know. And we only had 1 car, and one of the biggest joys in our life was when I took over the Xerox project for T.H. Green, and we got a pickup truck.
Wow.
It was a pickup truck. She
Had to
allowed
have a
her to
car.
have a car and
With 3 kids.
spread the 3 kids out.
The old company truck, oh yeah.
Company truck. I remember I broadsided, well, somebody ran a red light, I broadsided them with that truck, and I remember just the way TH Green used to operate it, and called my radio, we had radios in the truck at the time. And I called in and told about the accident, and the first thing I got from the purchasing agent.
You want me to open it?
At TH Green at the time was not how I was or how accident, he wanted to know how the truck was. You know? He's more concerned about the truck than the house. But anyway, I won my first race by 1 vote.
Yeah.
Six-
And
Out
turned the
6,000.
town Democratic for the first time in 150 years.
Wow.
And from there on in, I was the largest vote getter, and the next 2 or 3 times I ran for office. But you know, and the ambulance had not started. They were just forming the ambulance when I first went on the first public meetings about holding the ambulance. I wasn't in politics then.
And what was Henrietta like? 5,000 people or
No,
something?
like more like 15, 16,000.
It was- okay.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, and growing.
Oh, yeah,
Leaps and bounds.
boom,
I mean,
like crazy, yeah.
The growth was crazy. You know, and so I ran. It was 8-1 Republican when I started. Well, I'm not going to get a long story. She told me she said you have to keep it to 15 minutes because they'll get bored. Now you asked me to do something entirely different. I had not figured out plan, but
You
that's
can
all
do
right.
it, you can do it.
Well, anyway, you know, I today I'm still amazed. I don't know one that I talk about now and then. A guy from Melville Street with no education and 10 kids, and let me tell you,
Your father
things
and
were tough
mother.
at the time because my father died when I was 11, and there's still 8 of us at home at the time, and her father living on Carlsell's Avenue. Her father was a no good son of a gun. I can say that. And neither how we were able to this day. I was amazed at what a series of events that put me in my top position. Ended up I was a senior vice president for Fishback and Moore. Fishback and Moore was the largest electrical contracting firm in the United States by twice the size of their nearest competitor. And I ended up having 13 companies report to me, believe it or not.
Wow.
You know, and over $800 million worth of construction on a daily basis. You know, how I got there still amazes me. I have no idea why I got there. I really don't. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I can say though, when my first portion that gave me, well, actually I blew the senior vice president about 2 years prior to that because the chairman of the board of Fishback invited Alice and I down for dinner one night. And they were looking for a new senior vice president for the Eastern Division, which was the division T.H. Green was in at the time. I reported to this guy from Boston, and former SAT pilot, by the way, you know, and something happened to him, and they were looking for a new senior VP, and I didn't realize that. But here's how subtle it could be. We're sitting at the table at some nice restaurant. That's being picked up by the going to their suite. They used to maintain a suite. That's another story. But I went to dinner and we were just having a conversation. You know, I had met him several times before. In fact, I'd been asked several times by the president to fly down and meet certain board members. You know, and anyway, I was just sitting there and talking, chit-chatting. He said to me, Carl, would you interested in moving? Could you move? You know, would you be interested in you know, going to Boston or New York or some big city or something else like that. And I said to him, and I was being honest with him, I said, I don't think I'd be that interested right now because their kids are in high start. Out of grade school, I can't remember now, in the high school, and I didn't want to disrupt the family. No, I said, oh no, I'm just answering. I got back to the hotel room, I got to thinking, I said to I just blew a job. I just blew a job, you know, and I did. And a couple weeks later, they appointed somebody new that I had to report to. And then a couple years later, the Central region opened up, and that was Detroit, Chicago, and Philadelphia, Washington. I don't know if it doesn't make any difference. And they offered the job to me. I took it this time because one of the stipulations, I had enough horsepower. I don't like to use that word, but I had enough horsepower at the time that they, I said my office would be in Rochester.
Yeah.
And they accepted it. The reason I had enough horsepower because they had already given me Buffalo Electric and Buffalo Nevada. Gave me responsibility for all the transmission on the east side, a couple of things. I was going on the management committee and all that, so I had enough horsepower to do it. And then later on, because of a lot of other circumstances, they ended up giving me the eastern region on top of it. I'll tell you exactly how that, I'll show you how corporate works. Fishback more experience in Tumbles at the time, there was 4 of us. The country was divided into 4 places and 4 divisions. And we were having trouble, so we were meeting in New York City. 4 of us, along with the president, chairing the board and stuff. And they resolved some problems that were going on within the company. And they always had big dinners, and they were first class out. They really were. And the night before we had dinner, the next morning we were meeting, and something I can't remember. And there was the meeting was at 7:30, supposed to start at 7:30 in the morning. We were all there with our briefcases. We had numbers, briefcases stacked with numbers and all that kind of stuff. And we're sitting there 4 waiting for them, and they come in. They said to the Eastern Division, I know, Eastern Division, the guy, can we talk to you for a moment? And bring the briefcase. And left, never came back. And the next thing I know, because we were in trouble and some of the things we were looking at, I ended up closing down 6 companies. What companies had to be closed and stuff like that. And so they were making cuts, unprofitable. And they said, next one they said, Carol, can we talk to you for a moment? That's it.
That's it.
I mean, really, that's it. And I walked in and they said, the guy's name was Steve. We just let Steve go, Carl, and you're going to take over the Eastern region. And I said, I can't do that. I got enough.
I'm on a flight.
I'm on an airplane, most of the week anyway. And so I'm not, that's exactly what they told me. You take the job or you're fired. Just like that. I made a wise decision. I made a decision to take it, but I never do it again. I never do it again because number one, closing, I had to close down companies that I've known the guys for 20 years. It was a terrible time in my life. But turned out to be very well. But I want to spend just 5 seconds, can I, on some things? Look, the question that which made our life, we had to adapt to a lot of things because most of my life I spent with guys that knew a hell of a lot smarter than I was. you know, and all kinds of engineering degrees and all that, you know. Top guys in the company were smart people. You know. And so we had adopted those social situations and those that we had adopted, you know, living a country style life. You want to talk about that, and adopted being in politics, and adopted a lot of things. And the interesting thing, let me just run through a couple. The question when you say somebody's been married 65 years, question 9 times out of 10 is, well, how'd you do it? Right? How'd you do that? Almost like a football game you did, man. This right play here.
Went for it on fourth down.
How'd you do it?
Yep.
You know, when I look back on it, and I shorten this all up, I look back on, I joined the ambulance, right, when we were starting up. It got to a point where we were only working at nighttime because we couldn't fill the shifts during the day. And we decided that we would start to put women on. It was a big deal back then. Started to put women on, and your mother was one of the first ones to volunteer. All right?
Wow, really?
I got into politics, and she's the first one to support me all the way through that.
Wow.
Right?
Very nice.
Woman power.
Yay, woman power.
You know, I ran into the problem with alcohol for a number of years, right? And when I came home from an evening, and I said to her, look, I think there's an auxiliary named Alna, right? And it's all like a woman, like an auxiliary. And she joined. You got to remember, we're going back 46 years now for me, and you know, it was not the same as it is today. And she joined Al-Anon. And shortly after that, a year or two after that, she found out that we knew that there's no central office of Al-Anon. There's a central office in AA that people could contact to find out there's no office in Al-Anon. She opened up the first Al-Anon office.
Wow.
Very good.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Wow.
I sat there when we first started this thing, and I almost forgot about that. Sat there at an award dinner, and she got a life-saving award for saving a young kid
The Honans.
at the bottom of the.
Yeah, the Honans at the bottom.
Really?
What was it?
It was a family called the Honans, which were very close, you know, growing up. You know, they had an indoor pool, and I remember my mom rescued Todd Honan from the bottom of the pool, did CPR, revived him.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He went to the hospital for like 2 or 3 days for tests just to make sure being underwater that long.
Wow.
But
Wow.
to this day, he's fine.
Oh.
As we moved out of Henrietta into the Pittsburgh scene, she became one of the first presidents of the Pittsburgh Garden
Club.
Club.
Yep.
Pittsburgh, not Garden Club,
Oh.
the Women's Club of Pittsburgh. All right? When we joined Oak Hill, she became the chairman of the Garden Club in Oak Hill. We're also the chairman of it. She became for the Garden Club in the Garden Club. She ran 3 different open house deals to raise the most money of anybody that ever.
Wow.
You know, when I'm trying to say that every
Won't
time,
flow to you, not actually get it.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
right, every time that, you know, I was doing something, she was right there.
Wow.
Right there.
Very
you know.
good. Wow.
We were doing things together that, you know. Now, I admit, I didn't love putting up a lot of signs all over town.
Exactly. Balloons and signs.
I'm not
and-
in love with her projects.
But you did it.
Daffodil.
You did
Well,
it.
you did them. Yep.
Yeah, I
Yep.
did it, I did it.
Yep.
And
He did.
9 times out of 10, I ended up loving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the end result, yeah.
I planted thousands of flowers. you know,
The
Yep.
canal, yeah.
Yep.
And when she joined the Women's Club of Pittsburgh, I planted daffodils along the canal.
5,000 of them.
And they took all the credit.
And you were in
And I
there
did the
with
planning.
them.
Stuff like that. I did all that, you know. There's been 100 memories that we forgot, I'll be honest with you. You know, of things that had happened during our lifetime. But I'm going to say this, I'm 87, she's 84. Most nights, and I say most nights, probably every night, you know, we end up doing something really intelligent. We sit on the couch after I watched my series down there, something she was upstairs. We sit on the couch, we watch Cops.
Yeah, I was gonna say cops,
That's
yes.
very important.
I became a cop because I wanted to serve.
We got a lot of intellectual stuff on.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know,
Cops.
and this I know, you know. And normally, you know, when I'm sitting there, she rubs my back.
Oh.
We don't go to bed without saying we love each other. And have done that for years, even sometimes through gritted teeth. And believe me, there have been rough spots in our marriage where we've had to have additional help. You know, to go up. But the point of it is, we loved each other enough to walk through those kind of things, you know. And she says, what I think is the greatest things, that warms my heart every time she says it. When asked that same question, you know, how'd you do it? And she's always, this is the answer she's always given. He's my best friend.
Yeah.
And what more can you ask after 65 years?
Right.
That's all I got to say.
Thank you. And, you know, the same goes for somebody that's strong. And, you know, when you boys were growing up, there had to be, even when I said, well, your father gets home, that for me was, he's going to do something to make you stop what you were doing. And
He was the muscle in the family.
yeah, I agree. But it's been, you know, what I say is it's been a journey. And I've loved every minute of it. I have grown to know what you need and what you don't need. And hopefully it'll continue because I'm here to take care of you.
We
And
don't have to worry, honey, because we don't have much longer to go.
Oh.
Everybody
Yes,
do
you
all
do.
right?
the nice thing of it is, whenever Carl leaves the house to go out somewhere, we always give each other a kiss goodbye.
Oh.
Yes.
And when we're in a restaurant, I can't come in and sit. I always need to give him a kiss hello. And when he goes to bed first, and he's got his CPAP machine on, he always goes to the end of the hallway and he says, good night, dear. And I always answer, good night, see you tomorrow. And we always say, love you.
Yep.
And that's always been our confidence to know that. For today, it's been a wonderful day.
Oh,
So thank you, and we just want you to know, if there's any way we can give an example, you just come and ask us.